European countries and the US are going to build semiconductor factories in India and Vietnam. What is the purpose? Under the global chip shortage and the US sanctions, the Chinese chip industry has researched and made great achievements on its own. The development of China's chip industry naturally occupies the global chip market, so the United States and Europe have also taken corresponding measures. Semiconductor powers such as Europe and the United States do not join forces with other powers, but instead build factories in Vietnam and India. The reason why India and Vietnam are favored by the US and Europe is that the foundation they currently have has many similarities with China 20 years ago. After more than 20 years of development, China's semiconductor industry has achieved initial achievements and is gradually promoting the process of localization, which has caused a crisis in the old European and American semiconductor countries that have always regarded China as a dumping place for their semiconductor products. So they need support new forces to restrict the development of China's semiconductor industry. This strategy kills two birds with one stone, which not only reduces costs, but also restrains China. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope it will touch your heart and stimulate your thought. Will the US and Europe really get what they want by choosing India and Vietnam as counterweights to China? Under such circumstances, how should China respond? Today's video will introduce the relevant content. India and Vietnam are the balance points that Europe and America choose to restrict the development of China's semiconductor industry. In April, the US-India Semiconductor Industry Agencies signed a Memorandum of Understanding to deepen mutual relations, one of which is a plan to set up a semiconductor factory in India, attracting substantial investment to set up semiconductor wafer manufacturing facilities in India. Subsequently, the Indian government then approved $10 billion of semiconductor investments under the Semiconductor India program in the next 6 to 8 months. Since Vietnam launched its first integrated circuit development program in 2009, they already have a certain semiconductor foundation. With its geographical advantage, it has also attracted many foreign semiconductor manufacturers including Intel and Amkor to increase their investment in Vietnam in the next few years. Will the US and Europe really get what they want by choosing India and Vietnam as counterweights to China? The answer is no. Although it has some effect, they won't get the desired result. The next video will look at reasons. First, India and Vietnam lack the cultured senior engineers in semiconductor manufacturing. Although India has a large number of Internet software talents, there are certain differences between the Internet and the semiconductor industry, and the two are not completely interoperable. Semiconductor manufacturing requires higher precision and higher technological content, and requires compound talents across multiple disciplines. In India and Vietnam, it is the minority who can afford this kind of education. Therefore, they are inferior to China in terms of semiconductor knowledge popularization. But it is undeniable that while India and Vietnam lack senior engineer culture, they do not lack senior semiconductor talent. Taking India as an example, there are often Indians in the management of American semiconductor giants, who have deep experience in technology and management. Therefore, whether India can introduce relevant policies in the future to attract these high-end talents back to India is a crucial key for developing its local semiconductor industry. Second, the discipline, sense of responsibility and hardworking spirit of engineers are also one of the important factors in the development of semiconductor manufacturing. In the process of semiconductor manufacturing, engineers are often required to be on call 24 hours a day, and they are also required to search around the clock to overcome key technical problems. The Chinese knocked on the door of the semiconductor world with hardworking spirit, and whether the other two countries can have the same spirit of not giving up that China treats the development of the semiconductor industry. It requires more time to verify. Third, the policy efficiency of the local government and its leading infrastructure construction are another important factor for the development of the semiconductor industry. In terms of policy efficiency, the establishment of a semiconductor manufacturing plant will involve infrastructure construction, land demolition, and factory building, which requires efficient government work to better implement it. In terms of infrastructure construction, the lack of infrastructure construction such as transportation, water, electricity, and gas in India and Vietnam restricts the development of their local semiconductor manufacturing industries. Fourth, the overall financial structure of China is better than that of India and Vietnam. In the past 2 years, the United States and other foreign capital flows into India, Vietnam, and other places. Once the United States' tighter monetary policy, these capital will flight. India, Vietnam, and other places are hard to resist the impact of such financial shocks, especially in the semiconductor sector, where foreign investment is the focus, will suffer a greater impact. The above factors do restrict the development of the semiconductor industry in Vietnam and India, but as long as there are opportunities and foundations, their semiconductor development will inevitably rise to a higher level. China is surrounded by countries and regions such as the United States, Europe, Vietnam, and India. How should the Chinese semiconductor industry respond? The situation facing India and Vietnam in developing the semiconductor industry today is different from that of China 20 years ago. The semiconductor industry more than 20 years ago was regarded as a sunset industry by Silicon Valley, and few people invested, but China seized the opportunity at that time. Today, semiconductor industry has received global attention, and semiconductor competition has become a game for giants. India and Vietnam are too late to enter the competition in the field at this time, and the roles they play are chess pieces in the hands of these giants. Additionally, although the chess pieces are small, they are closely related to the direction of the chess game, and the chess pieces may also change the situation of the chessboard. Therefore, the role played by the chess pieces cannot be ignored. India's development is a matter of time. China must quickly get rid of the entanglement with them at the bottom and do a good job in upgrading the domestic semiconductor industry chain. In addition to enhancing local strength, it is also necessary to make full use of the development potential of the Chinese mainland market to attract more upstream and downstream manufacturers of the semiconductor industry chain to invest in China. China can continue to release favorable policies to allow more semiconductor companies to take root in the development of China's semiconductor industry. Through adequate market competition and market effects, the resilience of China's domestic semiconductor industry can also be enhanced. In fact, it is the right choice for the U.S. to set up factories and lay out the semiconductor industry in China. China is superior to India and Vietnam in government efficiency, market, diversification of design companies, infrastructure, capital, IPO, and other aspects. In general, the time cost, trial and error cost of building a plant in China is lower, it is more relevant to the needs of customers, and it is more conducive to consolidating the US and European countries' position in the semiconductor market. In the global semiconductor competition of the new chess game, Europe and the United States has obviously put China into the position of the chess player. Do you think these countries will get the desired result of restricting China? Okay, we just spent another 10 minutes of deep thinking. Do you want to know what changes have taken place in the world in these 10 minutes? Please keep following our channel and like our videos.